Massive, live on YouTube around 4 p.m. EST, Monday, Thursday, Friday. Follow for notifications. Welcome YouTube viewers and Massive family. In this video we'll be going over everything you need to know about Star Wars Battlefront, from gameplay basics to more intricate stuff like pickups, power-ups, heroes, vehicles, both ground and air, weapons, star cards, the partner system, companion app, and more. We'll start with the gameplay basics, which I'm sure most of you know already, and then move on to the fun stuff. So, you don't need to reload blasters, but you do need to watch how hot they get. When you fire your blaster until it overheats, you'll see a semicircle pop up, and there will be two yellow lines with two circles. When they line up, press square, X, or R to instantly cool your weapon. If you miss, it will burn out and it'll take longer to cool. Consecutive successful quick cools will cause the bars to get smaller and smaller, and thusly harder and harder to hit. Utilizing quick cool with a star charge card like Ion Shot is the best way to get the most out of your charge card before the timer runs out. To switch between first and third person, hold down on the D-pad or hold down on your C key and you will switch between first and third person. You can also tap down on the D-pad or tap the C key to switch which shoulder you're looking over. Star cards are the bread and butter of your offensive and defensive gadgets and charges. There are two types of star cards, regular star cards and charge cards. Regular cards can be used as often as you'd like, as fast as the cooldown timer allows. These are your grenades, your jump pack boosts, and sniper rifle shots. For instance, if you've got the cycler rifle card in your third slot, you would press R1 and then you'd have a sniper rifle in hand for a single shot. After that's done, you simply wait for it to cool down again. Charge cards, however, are something far more specialized, and these aren't the ones that get you in debt. You must find lightning bolts throughout the map to gather charges for it. Once you gather one of those translucent blue lightning bolts, you will have a charge, and once it is used, it depends on the card how long it lasts. It could be a damage quota, or it could be a timer. To give an example of these, would be the Ion Shot charge card, which powers your blaster to use anti-vehicle rounds for a short amount of time. Or the personal bubble shield, which temporarily makes you invulnerable from enemy fire, until the damage cap is reached. You can purchase cards with in-game currency earned from Battlefront or its companion app, Base Command. Apparently, there will be no microtransactions for Battlefront. Thank goodness. While we're on the subject of star cards, let's talk about the partner system. When you're in a party with a friend, you can invite them to be your partner, or they can invite you to be their partner. It can work either way. Once you accept that invite, you can then share your partner's unlocks. Even if you don't have enough currency or the right level to use a certain star card, if your partner has that star card and has it in their hand, you can actually select your partner's hand of 3 star cards and use those star cards yourself. You can also spawn in your partner at any time, but be careful because you could spawn into a death trap. Your partner also has a yellow outline so you can see them at all times, no matter where they are. You can only have one partner at a time in Star Wars Battlefront, however you can have a party of up to 8 people with you. Now let's go ahead and talk about pickups. A pickup is a translucent blue floating object that you find on the battlefield. Sometimes you'll have a pointer that's telling you on your HUD, other times you'll just have to look for that translucent blue object the best that you can and then make your way to it. One of the best ways to get to a pickup before anybody else is to use a jump pack. It allows you to go up and over them at a much greater speed than they are. It'll get a lot of people mad at you that you are able to get at the AT-AT Walker or Hero pickup faster than they can, but it is survival of the fittest out there. Now there's a few different types of pickups and I want to talk about those right now. There's Hero pickups, and you can grab these and play as Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Boba Fett, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Emperor Palpatine. It all depends on what map you're playing on. There's also vehicle pickups. Again, it depends what map you're playing on. You could either find ground vehicles or aerial vehicles, and then you've got charge pickups, which charge your charge card, and finally, power-up pickups. These will be the octagon-looking icons that give you a random power-up pickup. And since those octagon power-up pickups are random, you could get anything from a thermal imploder, a squad bubble shield, a proximity detonator, a smart rocket, an automatic vehicle turret, an automatic anti-personnel turret, a manable blaster turret, or an orbital bombardment. But keep in mind, if you have something in slot 4, which is the slot that's just below your star cards, you will not be able to pick up a hero pickup, or a vehicle pickup, or a power pickup or anything else because it is already taken. So make sure you use that if you're going after a hero pickup or a vehicle pickup. Otherwise, you will be too late. You'll be standing over that translucent object while someone else takes it because it's just intersecting through you. Your space is already taken. And now we're going to cover the ground vehicles available in the beta, starting with the AT-ST Chicken Walker. This has 3 weapons. It's regular anti-personnel laser fire, its grenade launcher, which is excellent for taking down enemy infantry, and also its missile launcher, which is perfect for wiping out any turrets that are targeting you. Turrets can really melt your armor quickly, so it's a good idea to save that missile for turrets, although it is also useful for AoE damage against personnel. The grenades do go up and over, so keep that in mind when you're trying to aim it inside of a bunker or inside of a hangar entrance. But they are wonderful for taking down groups of enemies. I've noticed it seems to go a little faster when you hold down the stick or hold down shift. It does seem to have a type of sprint functionality. The AT-ST has awesome offensive capabilities, and it's pretty common, so you can definitely get inside of it 4 or 5 times a match, and you can play with it until your health runs out, which is fun. Next up is the AT-AT Walker. This is a timed vehicle, which means you've got 1 minute inside of it. The reason it's a timed vehicle is because it's practically invulnerable. You're probably not going to be dying when you're inside of it, and that is why it has a minute timer. The AT-AT Walker has 3 weapons. It has a medium laser, heavy laser, and orbital bombardment. I suggest as soon as you hop inside the AT-AT to use that orbital bombardment because every second that you're not using it is a second wasted. It does have a cooldown timer, so use that as often as you possibly can. As soon as that cooldown timer expires, use that orbital bombardment and use it on the uplink outpost. That's where all the rebels are going to try to be defending, or at the entrance of the hangar. The heavy lasers are wonderful for taking down turrets and also for AoE damage. However, I have found that the faster medium lasers are preferable for taking down infantry. It's fast, it has decent AoE, and you can rack up quite a few kills inside of the AT-AT. A few places where you can find the AT-AT pickup are by the AT-AT downed walker, just outside of the hangar, and when it's at the 3rd uplink station, then you can find it just toward the right bottom of the hill. Now before we move on to aerial vehicles, I'm going to talk about the AT-AT Walker Assault on Hoth and objectives. The reason why the rebels lose so much on the Walker Assault on Hoth is because they're not focusing the objectives. You've got to run up to the objective, hold square. It's not like a control point. You actually got to hold square, and this will activate the objective. Then you got to defend it until the circle reaches a full circle, and then a Y-wing bomber run will hit the AT-AT walkers, and that is the only time where you can actually damage them. You want to use your ion shots, your grenades, and especially your A-wings and your X-wings to hit those AT-ATs as hard as you can. You can easily take down both walkers in round 1 with proper teamwork. I cannot stress how important it is to have your A-wings and your X-wings hitting those walkers. They do a ton of damage to them, and it is extremely effective. Another thing to keep in mind is how important the turrets are, especially the heavy laser turret. That's another great thing for taking down the AT-AT Walker health, and those heavy turrets can also take down the AT-ST in a few shots. The spaceships can basically be broken down into 2 categories. You've got your fighters and you've got your air speeders. Now your fighters are your A-wings, your X-wings, your TIE interceptors, and your TIE fighters, and then the air speeder has a TOW cable, and you can use that to actually take down the AT-AT walkers when they're damaged enough. You can only take your TOW cable out when they are damaged enough. You want to fly near their legs, and it'll give you a prompt to hold your 4th category button, whether that's the numpad 4 or R1 and L1 or RB and LB. It'll be one of those, and you want to hold that and you'll actually launch your TOW cable, and be very careful when you're actually spinning around taking the TOW cable around that AT-AT to take them down. The fighters can have anything from boosts that help them go really fast and get out of the enemy's way, or shields that withstand a certain amount of damage. When dogfighting, you'll need to lock on your targets. You can do that by holding down your left trigger or one of your mouse buttons, and you'll see your reticle turn red and lock onto the target once you kind of see your crosshairs line up. Or even if you don't, just start firing and try to keep your enemy in the center of the screen with your lock on, and make sure you keep it red, and most of your laser hits should hit them Once they are kind of perpendicular to you, you want to actually launch your torpedo and keep that lock on solid, and that torpedo should hit them and successfully take them out for you. When dogfighting, aerial maneuvers are crucial. I cannot stress that enough. You can use F1, F2, F3, or your D-pad to utilize these aerial maneuvers. They allow you to barrel roll, dodge, and even change directions very quickly. There is a cooldown to how often you can use these, so keep that in mind. You can also throttle back or throttle up on your speed to help you either keep the enemies locked on or to get away from them. Obviously, you can also use your shield or use your boost to protect you from enemy fire. Keep an eye on the minimap. And if you're on the side of the rebels on the Walker Assault on Hoth, or any other map that has objectives like this, you want to watch for when the walkers are bombed by the Y-Wings. Once they are bombed, they are vulnerable, and you want to focus all of your energies on taking them down. Use burst fire lasers so you don't overheat, and throw your missiles at the AT-ATs. You can deal a huge amount of damage. You are dealing the most damage out of anyone on the map when you are inside of an A-Wing or an X-Wing and you're going after these walkers. And conversely, if you're on the Imperial side, you want to be stopping them. You want to take down the Y-Wing bombers. When you hear the bombing run, listen for that and look for the Y-Wings and take them down. You want to take down the X-Wings, take down the A-Wings, take down the air speeders. Just make sure the rebels have no air presence, because air presence for the rebels are key. The rebels don't even have any vehicles on the ground on Hoth. It's just all in the air. And of course you have two different view modes. You have first person cockpit view and third person, which I prefer for dogfighting. Hero power-ups are kind of difficult to get. They're very, very difficult to see because of their low profile, and they don't really pull up in your HUD from as great as a distance as regular pickups do. If you're lucky enough to get a hero pickup, be sure to protect your hero. You have a health bar at the bottom of your screen, which also doubles as a timer. You have a certain amount of time with your hero and also a certain amount of health. When approaching enemies, be sure to hold down your left mouse button or hold down your aiming button on your controller to block their fire. When blocking their fire, you're actually deflecting their blaster bolts, and their blaster bolts can actually be deflected back at them and deal damage to them. Depending what hero you're playing as, you have 3 different attacks, usually something to do with the Force, either a forced push if you're Jedi, or if you're Sith, a forced choke, a saber rush if you're a Jedi, or a saber throw if you're Sith, and finally a heavy saber attack. Use these to the best of your abilities, whether you have to close in on an enemy target, or if you need a heavy saber attack if there's an AT-ST or something like that. Keep in mind, AT-STs can stomp on you and you'll take damage from that, so don't get too close, and constantly jump. If you're jumping, that makes you a difficult target. If you're walking around on the ground, that makes you a slow moving target. Especially if you're going after an AT-ST. Jump, and when you're jumping, throw your saber or use your saber rush and then do a heavy saber attack, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you don't die. I feel like this should go without saying, but just in case it doesn't, focus on the objectives. It's not about your KD, unless there will be a team deathmatch mode on launch. It's not about your KD. Focus on the objectives and push those objectives. Do it as much as you can. You'll get kills. Don't worry about that. Kills are important, but the objective is what allows you to win or lose a match. And if you win a match, you get a lot more points, you get a lot more credits to spend on star cards, on weapons, on what have you. Speaking of credits, you can earn those in Battlefront, or you can earn those in the Companion app. Credits that you earn in the Companion app can be used in Star Wars Battlefront and vice versa. The Companion app is a lot of fun. At the moment in the beta, it's not available on smartphones or tablets, but you can go to the StarWarsBattlefront.com website and play it there in your browser. Be sure you select the correct EA account. You don't want to be earning points for your PC profile when you actually play on the PS4 or Xbox One. So select the correct profile before you start playing Base Command. When you're out in the battlefield, be smart about your loadout. Sometimes, let's say you're playing on the Walker Assault on Hoth. If you're playing as the Empire, you probably won't need the ion shots because the Rebels don't have a lot of vehicles. They don't have any ground vehicles, actually. So you'd probably be better off with the personal shield. You can pop that if you're in trouble, and it'll allow you to run away from the Rebel scum and recover your health in private. Conversely, if you're actually playing as the Rebels, you could use both of them. Obviously, you can use the Ion Shot because you can use that when the AT-ATs are vulnerable, or you can use it against AT-STs, or you can use the Ion Grenade against AT-STs. And the Empire could probably use the Thermal Detonator more than they could use the ion grenade because again the rebels don't have any vehicles. Since time to kill in Battlefront is so tiny, you really want to try to go for headshots and definitely go for burst fire. That'll keep you most accurate and keep your blaster cool. I hope you guys were able to find this helpful or entertaining, and if you did, leave a like down below and subscribe to join our massive family. I'm doing a Jedi mind trick type thing on you right now. We've also got tons more Star Wars Battlefront videos on our channel if you want to go check those out. Yeah, until next time, may the Force be with you. Game massively.